Shalom, shalom. First off, I want to give all praise to Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shah Bashem, Kakadash. I just want to touch on judgment a little bit of the calendar real quick, just a little bit, because I just hit like kind of a few little key points, but I really just want to go over what's going on today and what we need to be doing, because this stuff that happened right here outside of Dallas or whatever, I can't remember which one of the Akim sent me this, but when they sent this was when this happened or when they sent it, nevertheless, this was a holy day. This was the real Shabbat. They should have been in the house. This should have never happened. Remember the scriptures say, the Most High said, judgment going to start with the house of Israel first. It's going to start with us. Why? Because you are my children. You should know better. You have company over and you come in the house and they break the bed. They in there jumping up and down on the bed. You going to walk in there, who you going to dog out first? Your child. Well, what you doing? Well, daddy, mama, they was the one who was doing it. Yeah, but this is your house. You know it ain't supposed to be going on. So why you ain't, for example, why we teaching and telling people? So why you ain't tell them to stop? Oh, man, you judging me. Nah, man, we warning y'all. Why? Because, man, the scriptures say the Most High, he said his judgments are terrible. He creates good and evil. So if these people would have been in the house, it was the Shabbat. Matter of fact, we'll get into that. If you look up in the top left, you'll see the moon. It was the Shabbat. It was going into the Shabbat or it was right after. But nevertheless, they should have been in the house. Look at all them Hebrews. Nothing but. I don't even want to play no more of that. But nevertheless, you get it because I ain't trying to see how people all laid out like that. All right. So, nevertheless, so I was talking about Shabbat. No, it is not every Saturday. Just for, I don't know. Are you smarter than the fifth grader? When we came out of Egypt, the Most High said, do away with, don't do as the Egyptians do. Don't choose none of their ways, none of their customs, none of their anything, holidays. He said none of their ordinances, their calendar and all that. That's an ordinance. So we didn't come out of Egypt and say, "Oh, we did away with all that." But hold on, can we keep the calendar though? I kind of like New Year's. I kind of like St. Patrick's Day. Let's hold on to that. The Most High. Hold on now. No, we had to learn the correct way, the Most High's time. Remember, in Egypt, Satan fooled all of us and them in Egypt. Everything was off. He fooled everybody. Remember the scriptures, what Revelation 12 and 9 say, Satan deceived the entire world. Each and every captivity we've been in, Satan has had his hand in it. The sons of the Most High was there. All right. So, matter of fact, let's get into that because let me show something real quick. Right? Dictionary of Biblical Archaeology. I'll put a picture of it up. By the way, Zondervan was also part of this research. The same Zondervan. If you go to the second post on my page, look at that post. The top biblical scholars, they all got with Zondervan and they done this research, right? A gazer calendar, an inscription in ancient Hebrew script engraved in the limestone tablet. It says 10th century BC. Nevertheless, that's about 900,000 years approximately before Christ. So we talking about Solomon, David. This is showing that even then, Ezra, this is during the restoration of the temple and during the Maccabean period. We used the luminaries to determine high holy days, right? High holy days and the Shabbats. They was based off the moon by counting. We used the luminaries to count. We didn't go how people do today, the Shabbat every Saturday, because they too lazy to do the work. Well, look, he say 7 days, let's count 7. No. If David and Solomon and all them boys and Ezra and all them boys use the luminaries, right? We talking about Judas, Maccabees, all of them. If they used the correct ordinances as was commanded by Moses, and the Most High didn't correct them, then why are we using this calendar here today? And they've changed this calendar at least 10 times. From my record, I know it's more than that because some other arguments sent me more. They changed it in 1752. They changed it again in the 1500s. They don't just change they will change the whole day and the whole month. So like if today is, if today is the 1st of February, tomorrow when we wake up, they would say, no, today is October 18th, Wednesday, or Monday. They would just move the day and the month and the year. How do you go back and correlate that then? By saying, well, the Shabbat every Saturday. No, the Most High's time don't change. The Most High don't look down and say, oh, they changed the days down there in America? All right, cool. No. Other countries don't even have daylight savings time. Like, this place does not take precedent over what the Most High says. That's a westernized mindset. A lot of people, we got to get off of that. We don't just say, well, it's Saturday, count to 7. Nah, man, do the work. Like, do the work. Matter of fact, this artifact, if you are in Dallas, there's a fake Jew, if you will, museum right next to North Park Mall. It got all of our old clothes in there, our old relics, jewelry, all that. That's our stuff. They got it in museums. They raided Jerusalem and took all of our stuff. Listen, you know Edomites, you know white folks don't wear all them colorful dresses and fuchsia and all the loud colors and all. We do that. They don't even look right in it. Even if they tan, they don't look right in it. That's our stuff. You can go look at it. You can be like, that look like my big mama dress. Yeah, they don't dress like that. Anyway, back on the calendar, all right? So y'all see that, okay? Right? The inscription records the annual cycle of agricultural activities. It's the annual cycle. So it's telling you this, it's our calendar, all right? So I'm going to get a little bit more of that. Now, I'm showing this just so I don't have to show hold the book up and my phone at the same time. All right. YouTube, I'll just do it on a laptop so you'll be able to see it, right? Calendar. Originally, this is page 114, by the way. Originally, the Hebrews, the Israelites, this is even when we came out of Egypt, had no means of accurate calendrical determination, marking the passing of time only by reference to lunar or solar months or to the seasons of the year. This goes back to Deuteronomy. I'll let y'all read that later. This goes, or y'all could just screenshot and read. This goes back to the very beginning, right? Deuteronomy 16 and 16. And even before then, right? But nevertheless, we tell our days, months, years, times, seasons by the original ordinances the Most High gave us. Verse 16, 3 times in the year shall all thy males appear before Yahweh our power in the place where he shall choose, in the feast of unleavened bread, feast of weeks, Pentecost, first fruits, whatever you want to call it, and in the feast of tabernacles. And they shall not appear before Yahweh empty. Okay? During the Maccabean period, right? So now that inscription said about, it was approximately like 1,000 years before Christ. This is during the times of Solomon, Ezra. Matter of fact, let's just show a little bit of that. 2 Chronicles chapter 8. Right? I'll start at verse 13. Even after a certain rate every day, offering according to the commandment of Moses, meaning because that's the law, right? Some people call it the law of Moses. What it's not. It's the Most High's law. Moses gave it to us because he was the speaker. On the Sabbaths and on the new moons and on the solemn feasts 3 times in the year, even in the feast of unleavened bread and in the feast of weeks and the feast of tabernacles, right? And he appointed according to the order of David his father. I'm going to pause there. Let's talk about Solomon, right? Y'all read the rest of it on your own. So more proof, David and Solomon also was following the luminaries, because we have the tablets that was inscribed. Even when we rebuilt the temple, the same one that Yahushua, that Christ walked in, when it says Christ walked into Solomon's porch on it was Feast of Dedication, that's in the New Testament. We have those now. Well, they have them, they're heathens, but we can get our hands on them. That's what we use. When the Greeks came along, and I think it was Menelaus during the Maccabean period. Matter of fact, let me just get it. During the Maccabean period, right now I'm on it, but I really want chapter 6, but I'm going to show you how wicked Menelaus was, right? It's just like your pastor today. He's appointed to that church by these Romans, by these Greeks. He's appointed to that church. He can't tell you that y'all Hebrews and all of that. 2 Maccabees chapter 4, look at verse 50. And so through the covetousness of them that were of power, Menelaus remained still in authority, because the Romans set him up over us, like they set up Jesse Jackson and all these wicked men to act like they're our leaders. They are not our leaders. The Israelites are your leaders. People who speak like me and other Akims, these are your leaders. It's not these celebrities. It ain't Jay-Z. It ain't Puff Daddy. It ain't Jamie Foxx. They're not our leaders. They've already shook the hand. It's a wrap. All right? Increasing in malice and being a great traitor to the citizens. Talking about to the Hebrews. He was a traitor. He was a snake. He was a Sambo, if you will. Not Uncle Tom. So Second Maccabees, let's go to 2 Maccabees chapter 6. So when Menelaus, this is during the time of the Maccabean period, we were forced to do everything the Romans, the Greeks did. Okay? This is when we started to do birthdays, do all of that. They gave us an ultimatum. Either we act like the Greeks, like they did when we came here to America. Either you do Thanksgiving, Christmas, Easter, and all that, or we kill you. You pick that cotton, or we kill you. You drink liquor and fight on Sundays, or we kill you. Your 2-year-old come out here and pick this cotton, or we kill you. This is in their blood. This is their forefathers. This is Alexander the Great and all these boys that you're reading about. This is in the Bible. 2 Maccabees chapter 6. Right? This is also when we were forced to start worshiping. Pay attention, because what I'm about to say, and you research it. This is the first time we were forced to start worshiping Zeus, which is hell. That's what Jesus is. I hate saying that name because I don't like it in my house. That's what it means, Hail Zeus, back in the Greek. So today, that's what you're saying, because we're still up under the Greek captivity. We're up under these Romans. We're up under the Edomites. Every time thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. You're saying, Hail Zeus. We were worshiping the Most High, the God of Israel, not Zeus. All right? Y'all go through and read this, right? Matter of fact, let's jump down to verse 7, all right? I'm just talk through it and paraphrase. Verse 7 is when we were forced to start worshiping birthdays. They forced us. Matter of fact, let's go back up to verse 4, right? For the temple was filled with riot and partying, right? They was in there turning up. It was a whorehouse like the Christian church by the heathens who dally with harlots. Going to a so-called black Christian church is full of women and they can't shut up. Some of them even teaching, wigs on and everything. It's a clown show. It's a freak show. And had to do with women. It had to do with women within the circuit of the holy places. You ain't supposed to be all up there and what you doing? Hush. We got the priest, we got the high priest and all that to handle that, not you. And besides that, brought in things that were unlawful, buying and selling in the church, bringing in pork, right? They cooking all in the back, right? You know the black churches, we back there cooking the greens, the ham hocks, right? They got the chicken, the cornbread, the jiffy with the pork in it, the lard. They bringing in everything. You go in there, you could buy coffee, t-shirts, pamphlets, pay for the summer camp. You could do everything in there. It's all unlawful. This is a holy place. The altar also was filled with profane things which the law forbiddeth. So we were still keeping the law, right? Neither was it lawful for a man to keep the Sabbath days. So we was forced to stop keeping the Sabbath, which we observed by the luminaries, or ancient fasts, atonement and all that, which was observed by the luminaries, or profess himself at all to be a Jew, to be a Hebrew. We couldn't call ourselves Hebrews. An example, Alex Haley Roos, just an example, right? What's your name? My name Kuta. Whoosh, they whipped the skin off your back. Man, your name Toby. You better not say no Hebrew name. Your name Toby. Your name is Christopher. Your name is Jamal now. Your name is Adam, William, Frederick. That's your name now. All right? Verse 7, for time's sake, that's when we were forced to start worshiping their birthdays, right? So we had to start worshiping Zeus, Apollo. Couldn't call ourselves a Jew, right? We had to let them into our synagogues, let them into our churches, let their doctrine in, right? And if we didn't do it, we would be killed. Look at verse 8. Moreover, there went out a decree. It was a law. Like slavery, it was legal to have slaves and to kill them. That was a law. To the neighbor cities of the heathen, because this was Alexander the Great and all his whole bloodline, right? By the suggestion of Ptolemy against the Hebrews, that they should observe the same fashions. This is why you wearing a 3-piece suit to work tomorrow. And be partakers of their sacrifice. Easter, Ishtar, Christmas, Saturnalia, worshiping Nimrod, Halloween, Hallows Eve, Day of the Dead, New Year's, Janus, necromancy. I mean, I can go on and on and on, all right? Verse 9, whoso of the Hebrews would not conform themselves to the manners of the heathens should be put to death. Then might a man have seen the present misery. So I just want to read that part in context, because what I'm saying is this is when they forced us to start worshiping Zeus, who everyone calls Jesus today. And we were forced to stop stop following our original calendar. We were following it all the way up to this point. They would take it from us, we would get it back. In captivity, out of captivity. This is why the Most High keeps saying, remember the Sabbath day. Remember. Right? This is why Yahushua said, we're going to have to remember a lot of things now that we here in Babylon and we're waking up. He said, you're going to have to remember. You're going to have to remember, because y'all are them people. You're going to have to remember. It ain't hard to forget the Sabbath is every Saturday. That ain't hard to remember. A 3-year-old could get that. Saturday, Sabbath. No, you're going to have to remember, because part of the prophecy was put up for grabs. Not put up for grabs, but the Most High gave them an unachievable task. He said, if you can get them to forget the ordinances, meaning to forget the calendar, forget my days, months, years, and all that, then I'll cast the children of Israel away. He told that's to Esau and them. That's why they doing so much and trying so hard. Because all they got to do is achieve one. One. He said they got to measure the heavens above and the earth below and the sea. He said if they can do one of those, the Most High will let them into heaven. That's why they trying so hard. It's an unachievable task. Okay? Matter of fact, here's some more proof. Okay? So now, nevertheless, Menelaus, he's, well, I won't say the primary reason, but he's part of the reason for the Judas the Maccabees revolt. Well, as we just read, they all in our temples. There's women all in the temples. They cutting up pork. We couldn't keep our holy days. We had to start following the Greek Roman calendar. Matter of fact, I had some of that up. Let me get that. And then we're going to go back. Look. Let's get that. Let's get that real quick. Look at that. All right. This is what's going on right now today. You see that? Sunday was Apollo's day. Apollo, Zeus, nevertheless. Monday was Moon's day, right? Artemis Day. Tuesday, right? They call it Mars Day. This is where you got candy bars. You got all the other fake luminaries they got. Jupiter is Satan. This is why they got all this stuff. Wednesday, right? Mercury's Day. You see how they naming the planets? Greek goddess. They teach us this in school, but we don't know that they teaching us about devils. Thursday, Thor's Day. Y'all heard me say that. Freya's Friday. Saturday, Saturn's Day. This is where this comes from. So how we going to say, look, the Most High said day 1, he created this. Day 2, he did that. So what's the starting point then? You can't just say, well, it's Sunday. No, they created this. Our starting point is up like the Most High commanded back in the beginning. So when they say, oh, the law is done away with, you're going to forget the natural days, times, seasons. The new year, the Most High said, the new year is in the spring. So how the heck is New Year's December 31st? It's cold, it's ice, it's snow everywhere. The new year is in the spring. All right? I just want to show that, right? Now, also, here's another one. Do I still got this up? Oh, it's still there. Perfect. Okay. During the time of the Maccabees, that 1,000 years before, right? Well, we were following our own calendar. This is the first time when the Greeks came in, they was making us worship Baal Shaman. Baal Shaman is Zeus. See, people, they too lazy to do the work. Baal Shaman is Zeus. Jesus, going back to the Greek, means hail Zeus. So you're saying all hail to Satan. Click on the very first post on my page and you'll get the Most High's real name. It's Yahweh. His son's name is Yahweh Shah. Going back to our original language, the Paleo Hebrew, that writing right there that you're seeing. See, they search out the iniquities, right? Matter of fact, let me get that. No. It's in they search out the iniquities, okay? Salaki. Let's go to Judith chapter 5. This is one of my favorite scriptures. Judith chapter 5, verse 20, right? They know that all they have to do is get us to go off a little bit. And I'm going to close it. There's so many other scriptures I can pull in for time's sake. I'm going to close it out. But all they have to do, because they know the Most High, he can't lie. So if they can get us to forget or go off on one thing, they know the Most High ain't going to be with us. Or if they can get us to forget the Most High's ordinances of the sun, the moon, the days, times, years, all they got to do is get us to forget. Then the Most High got to let them in heaven. It's an unachievable task. Because even when we came here during slavery, the Most High allowed slaves, Willis Wallace, for example, he allowed him to see chariots. Swing Low Sweeter, he allowed him to see chariots. He allowed Harriet Tubman, her grandchildren today, they're Israelites. They live over in North Carolina or South Carolina. Nevertheless, he allowed some of them to still remember it. He put that spirit on them. And he gave them the luminaries back. Because what? He said that y'all ain't going to never forget it. It's going to be a few of y'all. Like it's a few of us today trying to wake our people back up like, yo, this is what's going on, right? Judah chapter 5, verse 20. All right? Now, so these people know. They get us to go off. Now, therefore, my Lord and governor, if there be any error against this people, meaning against the Hebrews. So if we back in Jerusalem, we chilling. They over here looking. That's why they knows that they came out of their own business. If all so-called, I'm gonna just say, if all black people were in, let's say if all black people were in the state of Texas, white people will be in Louisiana, New Mexico, and Oklahoma looking over the wall, trying to wonder and see what the hell we doing versus minding their own damn business. Well, what they doing? Well, I heard number bass coming from over. Well, why can't we? Bro, y'all got the other 49 states. This is how they naturally are. This is why they act that way. Because look, this is their forefathers doing the same thing. Now I'm going to read. Verse 20. Now, therefore, my Lord and Governor, if there be any error against this people, and they sin against their God, look at that possessive pronoun. Look at that. You see their, Their. You go to work tomorrow and look beside your workmates' Teams or Slack or whatever. They're going to have thee, him, their, they, this. But when we come to the scriptures and read this, we act like we're dumb. He said, and they sin against their God, letting you know the Most High is our power. He's our God. He's not everybody else's in the world. He dealing with your black self. He dealing with your black ass. He ain't dealing with everybody else. He dealing with you. So if they sin against their God, let us, them, consider that this shall be their ruin. And let us go up and we shall overcome them. So they saying if we could find something wrong or we can get them to go off according to their God, which they know he's real, he gonna turn his back on them. And we got him. What Drews could be saying, we got him. We got him. That's exactly what they're doing today and what they've always done. Verse 21, but if there be no inequity in their nation, if they keeping the law, keeping the commandments, they got faith and works, because the Most High had mercy. He always got mercy and grace. Some of us, we going to go off. That's why you have atonement. Yeah, you're going to mess up every now and then and miss a holy day. You might miss a Passover. That's why they got to make up Passover. He knows that already. That's why you got atonement. Right? But if there be no iniquity in their nation, let my Lord now pass, lest their Lord, you see, it says, lest their Lord pronoun, right? But the Lord, the L is capitalized because they know the Most High is above theirs. Lest their Lord defend them and their God be for them, and we become approached before all the world. Look at how many them, there, they is in there, and they're talking about us. Okay? So point being is, they know if they can get us to go off and forget I'm only talking about the actual Sabbath and stuff today. It's based off the moon. It's based off the luminaries. It's not every Saturday. It's not. People too lazy to do the work. All right. Matter of fact, let me show one other thing, a prophecy. All right. Let's go to Jeremiah. I think that's in Jeremiah. I think it's 31. It was more in turn joy. Yep, Khan. 31. This is it. Khan. I'm gonna just highlight it real quick. Right. Jeremiah chapter 31, verse 31. This has not happened yet. Also for the new covenant people and all that, Christian church. Well, a new covenant. All right, well you gotta have to explain this, right? Behold, the days come, said Yahweh, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah. Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt, which my covenant they break, although I was a husband unto them, said Yahweh. Remember, he brought us out of Egypt. He didn't say hold on to their calendar, like some of us still doing today. You still holding on to Babylon, to Egypt's calendar. Leave that alone. Go back to the ways of our fathers. Verse 33. But this covenant that I will make with the house of Israel, after those days, said Yahweh, I will put my law in their inward parts and write it in their hearts, and I will be their God, and they shall be my people. That would not have just happened at the beginning of this video. Everybody getting shot up. That wouldn't have happened if we were under the new covenant. Because he said we wouldn't be going off. They would have been at the house. All right? I'm going to skip down because I'm going to get straight to it. Look at verse 35. Thus said Yahweh, which giveth the sun for a light by day, and the ordinances of the moon and of the stars for a light by night. They have ordinances. They're not just a light. They also have ordinances. You know what ordinance is? Let me break this down. Those of us who grew up in the hood, we all would like to hang out at the corner store, right? Well, eventually, after all of us hanging out, just, shooting dice, doing whatever, the city came by and put a sign up on that building. And we wonder why we all get popped shooting dice and have stuff on us. That sign up says, no loitering. And most of us, we couldn't even read. We like, no littering. Yeah, I ain't throwing nothing on the ground. Nah, that's an ordinance. So the moon, they have a job to do too. They're not just up there just to look pretty. Right? Which divided the sea when the waves thereof roar. Right? Now watch this, verse 36. This is what they're trying to do. This is why they kept changing the calendar. In the 1500s, they changed it. In the 1700s, they changed it. In the 700s, they changed it. In the 300s, they changed it. During the Maccabean period, they changed it. During Constantine's reign, they changed it. They've always done this. Why? Look at verse 36. If those ordinances, now he named them specifically. He said the sun, the moon, the stars, whatever you want to call them, constellations, whatever. He said if they depart from before me, said Yahweh, then the seed of Israel also shall cease from being a nation before me forever. He gave him an unachievable task. He said, okay, if that depart from before me, meaning we before him, right? If you can get them to forget, or if this stuff don't work no more, I throw away my own children. Then he said forever, which we know is false because we already know the prophecy for the kingdom of heaven. Israelites in there. It's ours. So he gave him an unachievable task. Right? So he said, all right, get them to forget that, number one. Let's go to number 2, 37. Thus said Yahweh, if it's a stipulation. If is a stipulation. If heaven above can be measured, it's an impossible task. And the foundation of the earth searched out beneath, it's an unachievable task. They've only discovered 5% of the ocean. They can't go. Don't let them lie to y'all. They can't go down that far. Leviathan down there, right? They can't go down there far, dog. So if they could measure the heavens above and the ocean and the foundations, I will also cast off the seed of Israel for all they have done, said Yahweh. This is why they're trying to get us to forget. Because they just got to get one. But look at the spirit of the Most High. Like, he's put it back on us now, as the prophecy states, right? And the land was said to them, you are nothing. We can be called children of the living God. But also during our captivities, during the early part of slavery and stuff like that, the Most High kept it on the spirit of Israelites, whether if he used a male or female, to remember the luminaries, to remember it. I never forget my big mama, right? She died in the 80s. But when I was little, she used to always tell me, on the new moon, make sure you always adding to yourself and adding to God rather than taking away. And I didn't really understand it. I was like, man, what you talking about? Like, what? I'm getting there, make me something to eat. Forget what you talking about. Like, she was like, no, don't be spending. She said, be adding to your bank account rather than taking away. Meaning, let's say if it's Friday, right, and it's new moon, she said, she wasn't teaching law. It's kind of like Esther, if you will, or Deborah, right, was a judge. Now, I'm not sitting down teaching her law, turn to Isaiah, turn to this. No, but she understood. So she was just telling me. It's like, hey, new moon is also, you ain't supposed to buy or sell on new moon. So she was telling me on the new moon, when you see that moon, when you see that thing, when you see it, she said, don't be that next day you see that dark, then that next day is new moon. When you see that, and you see that first little, we was able to see further back then. But nevertheless, she was like, the next day when that sun come up, she said, don't buy or sell. Don't go to the store. You're supposed to be adding to yourself. That's in the law, though. We're supposed to be chilling. It's a feast day. All right? So my big mama knew this, and she was living in the 1800s. My grandfather, my dad's father, he definitely was living in the 1800s. Like, I ain't never meet him, but nevertheless, They knew this stuff then. So it's not like this is nothing new. Some of us was already here, yes. Right? I hear people say, oh, I'm indigenous. I was here. Man, look, yeah, we know. Some of us was already here, yes. And some of us did come through that Atlantic slave trade. That's prophecy. Yeah. We all just cousins. We brothers and sisters. Cousins, all that. So we know. All right. So nevertheless, several more scriptures I can get into on this, but during that time, I want to go back to what I pulled up earlier. All right. During the time of the Maccabean period and all that, right? We were following the luminaries. Solomon was. David was. It's about 1,000 years before Yahweh, before Christ. There's the book right there. There's in my hand. You see it right there. I just want to show it so y'all can have it because I ain't finna just put it on video. And I want you to look at this, right? Pull this up. During the time of the Greeks, right? Go to 1 Maccabees chapter 1, page 1, verse 1. Alexander the Great, the Greeks going down all to Julius Caesar. All them boys were ruling during that time. They were worshiping Baal Shemin, which is Zeus. The Greeks, the Romans, they're the same people, which is Zeus, which is Jesus today. Who's your God? Who's your power? What are your days of the week? What is your calendar? What is your Shabbat? Shalom.